Well, hi guys, I hope you've had a fantastic half term. I'm sorry this is a bit late, but I know pods didn't meet this week, so actually everything sort of carried over an extra week anyway, and I did make space for that with obviously the current climate of as it is, so we have a sort of 2 week gap between the end of this series and the start of the next one, so it's all good there. I wanted to talk to us today just a little bit about Nehemiah 11 and 12. In these passages, we find that, the walls are finished, Jerusalem's been built up, and now people are being asked to move from their ancestral homes and land into Jerusalem. And the reason they want to do that is because they want to build up the people of Jerusalem in terms of their the health of their worship, the health of their economy, and just as a people generally, so Jerusalem can be populated and flourishing. And so people are asked to make this big decision. And the big decision is, will you inquire of God and ask whether he wants you to move to do this thing in building up the people of God? It's a huge life decision. It's a biggie. And I want to take that and I want to sit with that for a bit and think about that. Now at the Groves Church, what we're good at and what I bang on about a lot is everyday discipleship, including Jesus in the everyday. You get up, you say good morning to him, you welcome him into your day, you sit with him over breakfast, maybe with your Bible open, you include him in your car journeys, you pray for friends, family, the church or whatever. You're conscious of his presence in work as difficult situations arise, and you might shoot up some prayers and say, God, help me with this, or be with me in that, or help me to honour that person who's absolutely doing my nut. You come home, you ask God to give you the energy and the love in your heart to really bless and honour the people in your household and your neighbours. And you go to bed and ask him to watch over you at night. All good, all valid, all super important. Jesus wants to be involved and loves being involved and asked into the everyday little details. So I'm not in any way suggesting that what I'm about to say is contrary to any of that. That's really important. But I notice sometimes I place so much weight on that sometimes I don't talk about including God in the big decisions, the big life decisions. And what the people of Israel are faced with are big life decisions. Do I decide to go and live back in Jerusalem, leaving behind maybe family or land or whatever, to go and do that and to invest in what God is doing there? And I want to ask, does God get that kind of say in your life? Is God allowed to have a say in where you live? Is God allowed to speak into what job you do? Is God allowed to open a door into which school your children should attend? Is God allowed to say how you distribute your resources in terms of what you have? These are big life decisions, and is God included in them? Now, I'm not saying that because I think that anyone in our church is doing things drastically wrong and needs to hear that. I'm saying that because actually from reading the passage today, that's what's jumping out at me and challenging me. Actually, we can get onto autopilot and just assume we know how the world works. We know, roughly what we need to do next in a sort of worldly wisdom sense. So we just crack on and do it. That makes the most sense. So we'll go do it. And sometimes God just opens those doors because actually what he's doing seems to make the most sense and is that. But sometimes God sends us in a completely different direction to what we were expecting. And if we don't inquire, we don't know. Following Jesus can be, and often is, quite a battle and quite a challenge. Now, Joshua, before he led the armies of God's people into battle, would inquire of the Lord because he didn't want to go into a battle without knowing what God was saying. So why would we be any different? Those massive life choices, those life-altering, life-changing, life-defining choices, why wouldn't we put them before the Lord and say, God, do you know what? I want to live where you want me to live. I want my kids to go to school or you want them to go to school. I want to share my resources with the people you want me to share them with. And that might sound scary, but actually God is always opening the door to deeper relationship with himself, and always opening the door to life and more fullness of life, which is what we're all after anyway. So I want to encourage us in reflecting on those two chapters, just to think, I think it's great that we're inviting God into the small and the everyday, but are we also inviting him into those bigger decisions that we have to make in life, because he wants to be a part of them? So let's inquire of the Lord and ask him to have his say in the big things that shape and direct our lives, ultimately so that his kingdom can be built up, so that people of God can be resourced, and so the wider world can know the fullness and life and love of Jesus as his kingdom advances. And I know as well that the more we lay down, the more the desires of our heart sort of move and change and shape in the direction of the desires of God's heart. And what you find is you're living the life that you want to live. And now I'm not talking necessarily about dream jobs or anything like that, but in terms of deep satisfaction, feeling that satisfied, full up sort of feeling, that comes from saying, okay, God, these big decisions, they're your decisions, and I want you to make them, and I want you to guide me in the way I should go. Just as some of those people of Israel did in Nehemiah's day, in deciding to say yes to God's call to go to Jerusalem, because that was right for them. So bless you guys. I hope that's helpful. And if you are going through big life choices at the moment, pray with people, surround yourself with good counsel, chat to me. I'll pray with you. I'd love to do that. And I would love to see God open doors into some things for you that will bring you into more fullness of life, deeper relationship with him, and a furthering of his kingdom, that others can know the life and the light of Jesus for themselves. So blessings, and see you soon. Bye.